It is finally getting to that time of the year where I can finally make videos in my car and not have to worry about my camera overheating because of the sun. I'm not a necessary, you know what? I'm not a fan of any real extreme temperatures. I noticed that, well, I've never been a fan of any of the extreme temperatures, regardless of how old or young I've been, but that's neither here nor there. That is not the topic of today's video. So last night, I was on a coaching call with my client, one of my clients, and she had this, what she's calling this come to Jesus moment. And she said to me during our call, she said, I finally realized why I've been overweight my whole life. And I said, okay, this is interesting. After 33 or so years being on this planet, you finally realize. I said, well, enlighten me on why you've been overweight all these years. And I think this is something that a lot of people suffer with. Even if you don't realize it, you might identify and resonate with what I'm about to say. So she said to me, I finally realized that I've been overweight all of my life because I have a hard time telling myself no. And I was like, that's interesting. She was like, whenever I want something, because I have the means to go get it, I get it, whether it's good or not. She said, I can't remember the last time that I wanted something and I told myself no. And she said, not only do I have a hard time telling myself no, but she said, I also have a hard time telling other people no. So I said, okay, I could understand both scenarios because we live in this world where everything, well, not everything, but almost everything can be had immediately. Like I remember a time where if you wanted fast food, the easiest way or the fastest way for you to get fast food was for you to get in your car and drive to the restaurant and pick it up. I never, when I was younger, thought that there would ever be a day where you would be able to order McDonald's or Burger King or Wendy's. I always thought there was going to be the scenario where you would need to go pick it up. Just like, well, I guess Blockbuster never thought that Netflix would be a reality. But again, that's neither here nor there. So as me and my client were talking, and we were talking about the impact of this had not only on her weight, but on her life, we were role-playing some scenarios. Because I've always said to my clients, one of the most liberating words in the English language is only 2 letters long, and that is the word no. And I think, like most people, I had a hard time telling other people no. I've never really had a hard time telling myself no. But when I was younger, I had a hard time telling other people no. And then when I got into management and when I got into owning my own business, but managing others, and I had to learn how to fire people. I had to learn how to hire people. I had to learn how to manage my time better. I had to get comfortable with telling people no. So I completely understand how difficult it is to tell other people no, but I didn't really understand how difficult it was to tell myself no. But I understood what she was talking about. So I said to her, I said, well, let's role play this. I said, if someone asked you to go hurt someone, what would you tell them? And then I said to her, okay, we're going to role play it. I said, look, I need you to go punch that person in the face. And she hesitated, but she eventually said no. And I said, how did that feel? So we went through a bunch of different scenarios. And each one, she hesitated, but hesitated less. And then we started going through some scenarios in terms of her eating. So I said to her, I'm going to offer you a piece of cake. So I said, here, you want a slice of cake? And she hesitated, but then she said no. So we just kept role playing. And as we role played, and this was a simple exercise, but as we role played, saying no became easier. And then we role played with herself. So I said to her, what are some instances throughout your day where you should say no, but you say yes? So we role played those situations out loud, telling herself no. And I said to her, I said, instead of telling yourself no, what if you said not right now? And if you've been here before, you've heard me use this. And I use this with a lot of my clients because I believe the finality of no, is that even a word, finality? I don't know, but it sounds good. The finality of the word no causes people to want to rebel. So I remember I always used to say, I never tell my clients that they can't do something, because when I tell them they can't do something, the likelihood of them wanting to do something is much higher. So I told her, instead of telling yourself no, just say not right now. I don't want you right now. I don't need you right now. We can do that later, but not right now. And she was like, oh, I like that. So hopefully she'll use it. But she realized that that was part of the reason why she's been overweight all her life. Because anytime she's ever wanted something, she's always given things to herself, and she's never told herself no. And not only has she never told herself no, she's never told anybody else no. So can you resonate with that? Is that something that you've ever dealt with? Every time you want to eat something that you shouldn't eat, you always allow yourself to do it. You never tell yourself no. If so, comment below and let me know. And if you need any help on your journey, click the first link below in the description. Fill out the form, and the two of us together will figure out what we need to do to get you from where you're at to where you want to be. And as always, the first coaching call is free.